welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Court. Today we are doing a very low-key 5-star anticipated reads vlog. As you can see, we already started my first book and I've been reading this book for quite some time. I've really been taking my time with this book, reading it over the span of a few weeks and just really soaking in the story and the words, everything that this book has to offer. You saw some clips of me reading it, me annotating it. I'm having the best time reading this book, and this is one of the most anticipated reads of the year. This is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This came out June 10th. This is toxic lesbian vampires. That's it. That's what it is. No, I'm just kidding. It's about these 3 women and how they turned into vampires in their different time periods, and eventually how they all meet one time period, I believe. I haven't gotten that far. I kind of went in blind. But as you can see, I'm about 48% of the way through, I think. Let's see. I'm on page 277, and there is in the ARC copy, because I'm reading the ARC copy, and I'm gonna go back and read the last chapter of the regular copy because I was made aware that I have them up there. I have several copies of this book. They're up there if you can see them. I was made aware that the last chapter in the regular copy is different than the ARC copy. So when I am finished, I am going to go reread the last chapter of the finished copy and see the differences. I'm probably going to reread this very soon to see what kind of differences are in the finished copy between the ARC copy, because there's maybe more, but I know definitely the last chapter and a few other things have changed between this and the finished copy. At least in the finished copy there is 533 pages and I'm on 270. I don't do math very well, but that's about halfway. So we're going to continue reading this. I'm having the most marvelous time. We are just about to meet and get the third point of view. We've only been in Sabine's and Alice's point of view so far. We're about to get our third person's point of view, which is Charlotte, and I'm very excited. They all have different personalities, and the way that V.E. Schwab can write these women and you can distinguish without even her, like if she didn't put the name places before she started each of their different point of views, I feel like I would be able to distinguish who was talking and whose point of view or head we were in, because she has these characters written to a T and I can point out their specific differences, and how that's just such an amazing experience reading this. The characters are just so fleshed out and it is an amazing, refreshing experience reading such in-depth women. Also, I say this every time I talk about V.E. Schwab, but the way that she's able to write about a time period that she has quite literally never been to, if you told me that she actually was from that time period, I would believe you. That's how well she writes it. I'm amazed. Blown away and amazed every time this woman literally opens up her computer, opens up her mouth, posts something online. Literally, I would read this woman's grocery list. I am obsessed with V.E. Schwab. I'm going to sit here and read for about another hour. We'll see about how far I get into it, but I am actually really loving this book, and I have a feeling that when we get closer to the end, I'm just going to want to binge it, so we shall see. But we're getting pretty close. I'm going to sit here and read for another hour. We'll see how far I get. It's a pretty fast read as well. When you sit there and you get into it, I'm flipping pages and so enthralled in the writing and I'm just immersed in this story. So we're gonna go read. Enough yapping so I can finally go read. We'll be back with an update in about an hour. Hello, I'm here with another update. I read for an hour last night. Got about 100 pages. I'm now on, I forget what I was on. Maybe I only read like 50-ish pages. I was on like 270 or something. I'm on like 350 now, so you do the math. I'm this far in the book. I'm now in Charlotte's point of view, and we're getting her point of view for the very first time, which is really, really exciting. The toxicity of the book is about to come to play. I'm very nervous because right now I just want to love these women, but I know that this is toxic, and I know what I signed myself up for going into this book. So I'm really, really nervous for what is about to happen, but I can't put it down now. Getting into Charlotte's point of view really amped the book up and makes me want to know what happened. So we are about to read for another hour. I'm going to walk on my walking pad, and I actually have this on my Kindle downloaded. The ARC copy, I got it from Tor as well on my Kindle, so I'm just going to read for an hour on my Kindle while I walk, and then I'm going to transfer all my annotations later, but I need to walk, and what better way to spend the hour than walking and reading Bury Our Bones. So that is what we're about to do. I'm very, very excited to jump back into this. It is the next day. Trying to take it slow still, but it's amping up and getting to some really good parts. And I just want to know what happens because I care about these characters and I'm so deeply invested now. So we shall see. I'll be back in another hour with an update after we walk. I have a feeling something juicy is about to happen. This book is hurting my feelings. I'm 80% 10. I'm on page 423, and my feelings are very much getting hurt by the words that Miss V. Schwab is using to, just the words. The way that I am so much like Charlotte hurts my literal soul. I am a want to see the good in people, and that's Charlotte, and seeing myself in her and seeing how Sabine is acting around her is hurting my feelings. If you have not picked this book up yet, I highly suggest you pick this book up. It is phenomenal, but she is big. Like, she is quite long, but she is worth every page, and I'm having such a great time. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I do plan on finishing this book later today because I can't stop now. Once we got into Charlotte's point of view, it was over for me. I have to finish this. I have underlined so much. The references to being feral roses and gardeners and soil and allowing yourself to grow. The references to those and the metaphors in this book are so well done. Also, there is a lot of metaphors between some Greek mythology. I believe it's Greek mythology that is really hurting my feelings. I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil the book, but when you get there and it also hurts your feelings, you'll know because it hurt my feelings. Okay. However, this book is so good. I am having the time of my life, and we are slowly amping up to the point where all three of them, I believe, will be together. Yeah, the ending of this book is gonna haunt me, I think. So that's great. Moving on, I'm gonna take a break from reading, do some other YouTube things, clean my house. It is the weekend. It is my normal chore Saturday. I'm gonna take a break from reading this, and when I finish the book, I will be back with my final thoughts because I can see myself binging the last 20% of this book later tonight. That's a lot of tabs because this book is insane. Insane book, insane storyline. It's going to haunt me forever. This book is 5 stars. I had to sit and stare at the wall for a little bit after it ended because I didn't expect it to end the way it ended, but I'm also kind of glad it ended the way it ended. I have conflicting feelings. I'm very happy with it, but I'm very conflicted in my inner feelings about the characters and things I can't say without spoiling the book. Just know that the end of this book is insane, and when you get to about 80% of the way through, even maybe before that, and you're reading this book, you're not going to want to put it down until you get to the very end. I hope that convinces you to read it because this book is amazing. The metaphors this book offers to so many things. Greek mythology, the midnight soil metaphor, there's loads more. I told my book club that I could write a doctoral dissertation on the connections in this book, and I feel like I really could because there are so many, and it is done extremely well. And the way each of the characters connects to these metaphors is actually insane. V.E. Schwab's mind, otherworldly. This book is amazing. Perfect standalone. Yes, I'm left wanting more of the characters. The only thing I want is more characters because I like the characters and I like this book. There's nothing that was left loose. Everything wraps up very, very nice, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm reading some of the praise on the back of the book, and it says Barrier Bones of the Midnight Soil is a perfect mix of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and Vicious. Correct, if you've read both of those books. And it also says V.E. Schwab is a cruel and brilliant storyteller. Her characters bleed from these pages and wrap a fist around your heart until you're left breathless and empty. Yeah, pretty much. And the last thing I'll say is, because I could talk about this book forever, is that the Midnight Soil itself felt like a true character in the story, and it really felt like that specific metaphor was all encompassing in the story. That and the hunger, those two metaphors felt like their own characters in the story, and I really loved how you could really feel like they had a presence from the beginning to the end, and I thought that that was done extremely, extremely well. This book is so beautiful. The quotes are beautiful. I absolutely had an amazing time. First book of the vlog done. 5-star anticipated read. Was definitely a 5-star. So we're going to move on to our second book of the vlog, Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm going to probably start this one tomorrow because I need a minute to catch up from the aftermath of Bare Bones, but this is going to be our second book of the vlog, and I'm really, really excited. We might stop here, but this one is next, and I definitely wanted to vlog this one, so it is getting thrown into this vlog because I have high, high hopes for this book, and I definitely feel like it's going to be a 5-star read for me. So this is what we'll be starting next, and I'm really excited to vlog this experience. So, next book, Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm 5 pages in, and Hamish just said that he's not a drinker himself. I'm 13 pages in, and I already feel ill reading this book. I'm really, really glad that I reread the Hunger Games trilogy and the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes before reading this, because I'm literally 13 pages in, and the amount of things that connect to all 4 of those books already is insane. I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, but if you have this book and you want to know what I'm freaking out about, the literal first line on page 13 is insane. Actually insane. We're at the reaping, and I know he gets picked, but why am I nervous? It's literally his Hunger Games, and we know what happens. Why am I nervous? The same thing happened when I reread the Hunger Games trilogy and the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Like, I already knew what happened, but every time something was about to happen, I got so nervous. Like my stomach started to hurt. Like I cried at the parts that I knew were sad in those books. Even though I knew they were going to happen and knew they already happened and was prepared for them. I know that he gets reaped. I know what happens. I know that he goes in the games. Why am I so nervous? Anyways. That's not how I thought it was gonna go. Oh, on to chapter 2. This is only chapter 2. We're not even in the games. This is a read that's gonna need some time. Hello, I'm back with an update on Sunrise on the Reaping. Pretty ironic that I chose to read this week and for this reading vlog, as today is July 4th. If you've read this book, you know what that means. It is Hamish Abernathy's birthday. It is also Reaping Day. It's not a spoiler, it's literally the first page of this book. Happy birthday, Hamish. It's been really hard for me not to give an update on every single page of this book because quite literally something happens on every single page of this book that I want to scream about. This book, I am on part 2. I just started part 2. The Rascal, it's called. I'm about 150 or so pages in, 135 pages in, and something has happened on every single page of this book. And I have been put through a lot of emotional turmoil already in this book, and we haven't even gotten to the games yet. We haven't got to the interviews. If you are a Hunger Games fan and know how the Hunger Games work, we haven't got to the interviews. We haven't gotten to basically any part of the beginning of the games, and so much has happened. I think we're about to start the interviews and get into the games, but I'm not really sure. Suzanne Collins likes to throw random things at us in these prequels of the Hunger Games that are different. It got spoiled for me before I started this book who the mentors were, but I still cried when they were introduced in the book itself because it was just a very emotional time. Something very big happened in the book at that time. I'm trying to make this as non-spoiler as possible, but something very big happened, and it was a very emotional experience for them coming into the games like that and being 12's mentors. I caught a little bit of foreshadowing already, and I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen after the games because we already know that Hamish wins, so I think that there's going to be a little bit of after the games in this book as well, and something major is going to happen, and I think I just caught the foreshadowing for that. Not too pleased if that's what's going to happen. Not too pleased. Suzanne Collins really said, "You will hate snow after you read this book." I already did, but now I really will if what happens, like I think is going to happen, actually happens. So I'm going to sit here and read part 2. I'm going to try not to update on every little thing because I don't want to spoil anything, but there is just so much that happens in this book and all of the connections that I'm making. I'm really glad that I reread the original 3 and the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes before reading this because it allows me to make the connections in these books together really, really well. But now I just want to talk to somebody about the connections because I'm just making so many of them. So I'm going to go read more and we'll be back with an update in a little bit. I'm now on chapter chapter 13, page 172. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dishwasher and the planes. So much is happening right now, but I needed to update because the last sentence of chapter 12 says, "Who's ready for a big, big, big day?" And if you know who that is, you know. I'm freaking out. I'm not built for this. Squirrels. That's all I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna be sick. We still have this much of the book left. Oh my goodness, that's so terrible. I'm shaking. How am I supposed to continue? I need a break. And some water. Sit here all day and read the rest of this book? Yes, I am, and you're gonna mind your business and watch. Was that rude? Please continue watching. I am eating this book up and will finish it today because I can't stop. Is it the saddest book I've ever read? Yes, but I simply cannot stop. I'm on chapter 25, page 328. I'm out of the games. You obviously know who wins. Not a spoiler. If you know the Hunger Games, and you know what happens in the 50th Quarter Quell, and you know the mentor in the original Hunger Games, you know who wins these. He's the main character of the book. Anyways, a lot happens in the games. And we're given little glimpses of his games in Catching Fire, I believe. Seeing the entire games played out in Haymitch's point of view is something entirely different. Seeing the people that he allies with, seeing and getting close to these characters just for him to be the only victor. Like, you go in knowing that he's gonna win. We're setting ourselves up for failure, and I knew that going in. I didn't expect the level of trauma I would be put through. I should have. Suzanne Collins holds nothing back when she writes books. I should have known what I was getting myself into when reading this, but I simply did not. No. And having to relive this and watch it play out on a big screen, I'm not sure I can handle it emotionally. Anyways, I'm gonna binge the rest of this book and come back with my final thoughts. There's no way that this book isn't a 5-star book. The parallels, the way Suzanne Collins is always writing about rebellion and sneaking in little things, the connections, literally everything in this book. I know it's gonna just get sadder. It's a 6-star book. Do I think this one outshines my favorite in the series? My favorite is Catching Fire. I'm not sure. I feel like I am a Haymitch. If I were in this big plot, I would be a Haymitch. So I feel like I can connect to this book in that way. Everybody always says like, oh, I would be the main character and I would end the rebellion. No, I'm a Haymitch and I feel that in my soul. So I feel like this and Catching Fire are probably going to be my two favorites, but we'll see how it ends and I will let you know my ranking on the series as a whole when I'm done. So I finished Sunrise on the Reaping. It's really hard for me to come up with thoughts as I literally just finished it. My hair's a mess because I kept going like this because I was so stressed out. Please excuse the mess as we went through the emotional trauma together. However, this book is done. Another one off of physical TBR that we have. This book is a 5-star book. This book is amazing. It said what it needed to say. I am beyond satisfied. I've been waiting for a book about Haymitch, and this exceeded every single one of my expectations. I cannot wait for next November to see it in a movie. I don't know if I can physically and emotionally see it in a movie form, but I am really excited nonetheless. The cast that they have, if you know anything about the cast and care about the cast, is exquisite perfection. I cannot wait. My ranking for the Hunger Games books. Last place is probably The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Next to last would be Mockingjay. Third is The Hunger Games, the first one. Second is Catching Fire. And first is this one. Those are always going to be nostalgic to me. And The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes didn't live up to this level, but this is unmatched. 10, 11, 12-year-old me didn't make the connections to real life that the Hunger Games had and the potential for it to be a political statement that the Hunger Games was when I was 10, 11, and 12. But reading this as an adult for the first time and getting to truly experience the political statements, the connections to the real world, and also the connections to the Hunger Games, the original trilogy, rereading that and experiencing that as an adult for the first time, made this experience out of this world. You will never catch me saying that I like anything relating to President Snow after this book, because I think Suzanne Collins is mad at the snow edits on TikTok. I don't like any of that. Anyways, this is phenomenal. I will be thinking about this for a very, very long time. The edits that are coming up for Sunrise on the Reaping, and the movie's not even out yet on my For You page, are never gonna let me forget it. So yeah, getting Haymitch's true story is very bittersweet. That's really the only words that I have. This book lived up and exceeded the expectations I had. It is very bittersweet and it makes me want more. And I think that's what Suzanne Collins is trying to tell us. We are like the Capitol. We just want to keep watching and reading about the Hunger Games. But at the same time, I just kind of want to know more about the rebellion and how soon it started, if there's signs of it in this book. Like, it didn't start with Katniss. They've been planning it for a long time, so I would really like more books on that. Maybe not just the Hunger Games. Suzanne Collins, I believe her overall plan is to get us interested in the Hunger Games. This is a theory that I have. Get us interested in the Hunger Games. Make us want to be mad at the Hunger Games, but still kind of want to watch it and want other people's games. Give us those other people's games, but ultimately make us want more rebellion. Her plan's working, at least for me. But we'll see. However, now that we have finished that book, I think that's where I'm going to end off this reading vlog. We read some very, very good books in this reading vlog. Both of them happened to be 5 stars, so this anticipated 5-star reading vlog worked out in my favor. we first read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, which was fantastic. I think about this book all of the time. I have my book club meeting for this tomorrow. Very, very excited to dive back into this. I want to reread it immediately. I continue to look at the tabs and the annotations that I have. This book was written phenomenally. I can't wait to pick up another V.E. Schwab book. I'm so happy that I don't have all of her backlist read so that I can read more, because I love this woman's writing. And of course, we read Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, another 5-star read. Honestly, probably one of my favorite reads of the entire year, even though it put me through the most traumatic, emotional reading experience I have ever experienced in a long time. It was phenomenal. 5 stars for both of these. Highly recommend both of these books. If you haven't read either of these, I hope this was non-spoiler enough and convinced you to pick these up, because these are great. However, that's where we're going to leave off with this reading vlog. Maybe I'll do another 5-star anticipated reads soon, because I have a lot on my shelf that I'm really anticipating to read and are giving me potential 5-star feelings just based on what I know about them. So maybe this will just be a part 1. We'll see. If you have read either of these, leave me a comment on your thoughts on these down below, or let me know a recent 5-star read of yours in the comments and I'll have to check it out. If you want to find me anywhere else on social media, all my links are in the description below, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. Bye.